Hey, welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. On this episode, I'm going to get into the Many Saints of Newark, the backstory, the prequel, the young Tony Soprano film, sort of. Basically, it's the beginning, the origins of Tony Soprano and the family and all that. And it's currently in theaters and it's streaming on HBO Max. I watched it on HBO Max last night. So we're going to talk about it right here on That Guy Talks Movies next. Welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. I am that guy talking movies and talking 4K and Criterion Collection and just, film in general. If you like to hear about those things, you want to occasionally get my opinion on a film or something that's out there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already, along with the notification bell so you know when I put up new content. For those of you who have hung in there with me, my current subscribers, the ones who are actually watching this, 2 or 3 of you, I appreciate having you. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about the Many Saints of Newark now. So this is the anticipated prequel to The Sopranos, probably one of the greatest television dramas ever on television. I put it up there with Breaking Bad, The Wire. It's one of those shows. I was a Sopranos fan. I watched it. I wasn't a Sopranos fanatic, but I was definitely a fan. I've watched the show. I've gone back and watched episodes again, and I was really looking forward to this. This is like the backstory to that Newark, New Jersey mob family thing, Tony Soprano backstory, origin story, and I was really looking forward to it, especially with Michael Gandolfini, the late James Gandolfini, late great James Gandolfini's son, and that resemblance. It was like uncanny. Like even in some of the trailer clips, like seeing his movements and his expressions, I was like, holy shit. So was really looking forward to this, and I'm sorry to say that I was very much let down. All right. So first, if you were a Sopranos fan, you were really looking forward to this, like any Sopranos fan. Like you probably were just couldn't wait for this to come out. And you wanted to see the origins. I was anticipating the origins of Tony Soprano, more focus on Tony Soprano. That's really what I thought was going to happen here, but it's more wrapped in the family and his uncle Dickie Moltisanti, who's also Christopher's father from the original Sopranos. So it was like his story. It wasn't done poorly, but it was not great, and I just thought more emphasis was going to be on Tony. Now, I know you can't do an entire thing on this teenager kid who's not necessarily bad yet. He's not like this terrible juvenile delinquent, but he was doing a few things, and you could see the elements or the origins of a few bad decisions happening with him and being somewhat of a bad kid, but not terrible. You could see his mother, played by Vera Farmiga, who I normally like as an actress, but I just didn't believe her performance in this particular film. Yeah, this is more about the family. Ray Liotta has an incredible role in this film. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I think his performance, one of his performances in this film, I'll say, was fantastic and probably held the most weight in this. But overall, if you separate this from The Sopranos and you're saying, let's say you're not a Sopranos person, and you're watching this to see a mob movie, like a movie, with this family and what's going on there, you'd be let down equally. I think if I didn't know anything about Sopranos and I watched this, I would be like, what was that? I mean, it almost feels like it's lacking, or you have to wait for the next episode or wait for the next film to come out because maybe they're waiting and they don't want to blow their load all in this first one. But this was not a great, on its own, it wasn't a great mob family movie. Now, I know that The Sopranos navigated that line between family and the mob stuff that took place with Tony Soprano, and that literally was the whole show. Most of it was Tony, his problems, his dealing with himself, dealing with his family, dealing with Carmela and AJ and Meadow and that whole thing, and being a mob boss. And that's what made it so interesting to watch. It was like the navigating those worlds. This was the family and some characters, and you felt a little bit here and there for some of them, but not really. I didn't get into too many of these characters. Even the older character, Uncle Junior and all these people are in this, and you get the throwbacks, and you will understand from the Easter eggs and the different little references. If you're a Sopranos fan, you'll get all that and you'll see that in here. But there's nothing here that was as nearly as what's the word I'm looking for? It just didn't draw you into the characters, and I feel like there was no real plot here. You're dealing with the Newark riots back in 1967, 68. You're dealing with those riots. Leslie Odom Jr. plays a role here. He plays like another gangster who's working with Dickie Moltisanti, and that whole relationship goes sour at some point. There's just no real nothing follows through, and you don't feel like anything was really resolved or anything was really something, like what's happening here. It was just kind of like a back and forth thing, and Tony's father, and he goes to jail, and Tony's mother, again, you could see the elements of her being who she was, and his sister. But going back to Michael Gandolfini, beyond the resemblance, I think they were worried, and I think they were scared that this kid, again, bless him for doing, it's a hard role to fill. I think from an acting standpoint, he didn't have the chops to do it, and I think they knew that, so they kind of kept him in the background. I don't think he has that much screen time. And how many lines does this kid have? There's not a lot of Tony Soprano here, and I wanted to see more of that. I don't think they needed to put the entire weight on this kid's shoulders. I understand that, but I feel like they could have done much more to make it more of a Tony Soprano thing. I'm not happy that they went into the rest of the family. I mean, yeah, you want to see that and get a sense of it, but it doesn't work for me. I think there's something lacking. As a Sopranos fan, there's stuff lacking here because you want to see more of the characters and you want to get more. You want to be more in tune with some of these characters, or find some of these characters likable or something, and most of them are not. And if you're not a Sopranos fan and you're looking for a good gangster drama, like it's a regular crime drama film kind of thing, this doesn't work. This would leave you scratching your head. Like, you almost have to be a Sopranos fan to kind of get some of it and be interested in what's happening. You're not going to be satisfied if you're a Sopranos fan. That's my take on it. I don't think you would be, okay? And if you've never seen The Sopranos and you watch this, you'll just scratch your head. Nothing will make sense. It'll be boring. That's my take. If you agree with me, if you've seen this, let me know in the comments below how you feel. If you're a Sopranos fan, I want to know if you're a Sopranos fan and you were let down, or if you're a Sopranos fan and you actually enjoyed this. And I want to know if you were not a Sopranos fan, if you've never seen Sopranos and you saw this, what did you think? Just want to know. Where are they going with this? Are they going to follow up? Is there going to be another one? Is there going to be another two? I don't know. Maybe, Michael Gandolfini is going to get more acting lessons, Yeah, that's it for me on That Guy Talks Movies. I was not impressed. If I had a rating system, I'd give it 2.5, 3 stars, maybe. Thumbs, candle. I don't know. I got to come up with a system or something. Anyway, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. All right, I appreciate that. Again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's grow the membership here. I truly appreciate that. For the ones who have subscribed and stick with me through my rambles and my random vacations when I'm not here, I truly appreciate you sticking around and for your comments. And I will see you on the next That Guy Talks Movies.